Hi there. I'm asking a musical question today. Are the dead really dead? Scripture tells us that indeed they've gone to sleep and they won't be awake, nor can they cross back over into this world to tell us what's going on. Now, I believe that because that's what it says in Scripture, and I tell people it says so in the Bible. I believe it. That's that. Something happened to me, though, that I can't unthink, unexperience, whatever you want to call it. My grandmother is buried in what they call Mount Sinai, which is in Los Angeles, overlooking, there's the Los Angeles Zoo as it exists today. There's the Train Museum, which I believe the Train Museum in that area is right near the entrance to the Mount Sinai Memorial Park. Now, the only reason I say that is because my mother went and visited my grandmother's grave many times between the time my grandmother died and when my mother was no longer healthy enough to visit there. And she always had a lot of shame and guilt along with those visits, and she experienced that almost constantly. I think it was because she had a lot of things that she did not say to her mother that she wished she had, and she had a lot of bad experiences and made a lot of decisions that she felt were wrong. Now, my mother was never buried. Her remains were taken up to my brother's place in Utah, which I believe they're still there today. But again, that's not really the point of my story. The point of my story gets back to the question, are people really dead? Do they stick around? Do they know what we're doing? I believe for a fact that we carry a piece of everybody we've ever known around in our hearts. That's why we can still feel them and experience them and think and hear their voices in our minds. We carry them around with us for the rest of our lives, especially if they're a loved one, a close one, a parent, a spouse, a child. It doesn't matter. Now, the reason I asked this question and the experience that I had leads me to it. My mother was always a person that said, I don't want you to stick me in the ground anywhere because I don't want people coming to my headstone and feeling sad and missing me and everything like that. She always said that. Always. So one visit in an evening up to my brother's house, it was dusk. It wasn't dark yet, but the sun was going down and it was not brightly lit anymore. She was put in a place that was amongst some trees that was probably 20 yards from my brother's front door on his property. So I said, you know what? I go to my father's grave. He really doesn't have a grave because he was cremated. But I go to where he's interred and talk to him. Do I really believe he's sitting there listening? No, I don't think so. It's comforting. It's for me. It's not for him. It's for me. So I said I would do that for my mother. So I walked out there, and immediately when I got there, I started getting hit in the side of the head with, I'm gonna say they were horseflies. They were big, whatever they were. They were attacking me. They were hitting me on the side of the head, not landing on me and stinging me. I'm sure that might have been the next step. But they were hitting me. They were coming from all directions until I walked away from that spot. And then they stopped chasing me. So, was that my mother imposing her will? Because she didn't want me standing at her virtual graveside where her remains were, talking to her, remembering her, seeing her in that state? She was always very big on imagery, and how she appeared to other people. I'm sure she doesn't want to appear in a jar to anybody. Not that it's important to her, not that it's even had anything to do with her. It's just an experience that I'm sharing, and I'm presenting it to you. And that comes from the For What It's Worth department. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.